Hi. Okay, so I'm Ashley with Jackson Innovates, and thanks for tuning in to our videos. Please make sure you like and subscribe below. Also, leave us comments. If you read comments on previous videos, I always respond. I love hearing from other wholesalers and other newbies. Again, what makes us different is that we are new too. We've only been doing this for less than a year. So we are knee deep in this, boots on the ground. We do a lot of our own tasks, not a whole bunch of outsourcing, so we can relate a lot to what you might be going through. Today I'm going to talk to you about one deal that we closed. We closed this deal a couple months ago, so I can give you all the numbers and stuff now. Nobody will be offended behind it. But I want to talk to you about how we did a JV deal with a realtor. I never thought I would do a JV deal, first of all, because I was all about like lone wolfing it, doing it myself, keeping all of my money, and it did work for us for a while. So I'll get to that, to how this happened, but let me just kind of walk you through it. So for this property, of course, I ran my numbers. You guys like to see numbers, don't you? Okay. So this was a single family house. I felt like this house would be best suited for someone who's interested in buying it, holding and renting it out, because it was kind of like two houses attached by a breezeway, so it would be excellent for a duplex. And then the garage was also wired and insulated, so that could also be a third income creating property on that same property. Plus it was an extra lot. This was just awesome, but it wasn't in like the hottest neighborhood. So once I ran my comps, I knew that this house should go for about 80. I knew that this house could go for about $90,000. So I asked 87,000, which was really a steal. The comps were right around like 130, 140. The house didn't need a whole lot of repairs, especially if you're going to get it rent ready. Eventually we ended up asking $87,000 for this contract. I put the house under contract with the seller for $80,000. So my profit, $7,000. So if I'm being honest, and if you're a wholesaler, you know this too, I didn't originally have this listed at 87. I think first we started at 99,000. I think we started at 99,000 because we knew it was a property. I mean, it has so much potential, but this was one of those properties you have to see it to believe it, because everyone who came to the property gave us an offer. It was just getting people to come to the property and see it. In retrospect, it was my marketing. In the pictures that I put in my marketing brochure, I did not highlight that it was two separate houses on two large lots. I didn't do that. I don't know why. I think maybe I had other deals going on, so I was just trying to get it done. And if I could go back, I would definitely have marketed that house much better, much differently. But anyway, you live and you learn, right? So we had a few people come by and make offers. Oh God, I'm sorry guys. I have to go get my laptop charger, and I'm pregnant and I'm slow. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Now the name of the game is not to trip over this charger while I finish this. So as I said, I ended up having to come down on the price a lot. Now, as I was marketing this property, of course you have other wholesalers who are just going to try to daisy chain and wholesale your wholesale, right? And you have to know the difference. You know, if someone's really lowballing you and they're way off on your asking price, almost near your price that you paid for the property, then you know they just stuck in their own wholesale formula. The typical wholesale formula is ARV times 0.70 minus repairs minus your fee. Lots of new wholesalers know this formula. So when I see a number that's really close to what you'll get after this formula, then I know that it's just another wholesaler. And again, at that time, I was not open to JV, so I just kept it pushing. But some of my serious buyers, people who I knew were real heavy hitters in the industry, were still coming in lower. So I got a few people to come out, and Fast forward, fast forward, fast forward. We had multiple offers on this house, right? Multiple offers, all right at $87,000. Because like I told you earlier, once they got to the house and they saw all that they were getting, anybody with any common sense was like, yeah, where do I sign? So what ended up happening was we had 4 different people within minutes of each other try to deposit earnest money in escrow at our title company. And so our escrow agent is calling me like, hey, AJ, I just keep getting people, somebody just came and dropped off a check and then they just left. I have another guy standing in my office right now with the cashier's check. Someone just called to get wiring instructions. Like, we can't take all of this money. You're going to have to tell one person yes and somebody else no, because the way that I do things is whoever deposits earnest money first, it's your deal. I am loyal to nothing but the check. You have to keep things fair. Now, obviously, if I have a repeat buyer, well, then that repeat buyer would have already had this property. I wouldn't even have marketed it. So I was just kind of like first come, first serve. I had no idea that everybody was just kind of rushing at the same time. I'm getting ahead of myself. So that night before, we were getting close to the end of the contract. We had like a couple days left. And the hard part was just getting people to come see the property. Because like I said, once they saw it, they loved it. So the night before, we got a lot of people to come out and everyone fell in love with it. Everybody wanted the property. One person who came ended up being a realtor. And he brought 3 retail buyers. Right, retail buyers, right? So they're not even thinking about paying a wholesale price. They want a retail price for it. And I believe he marketed it to them at, let's say 99,000. I'll show you the numbers in a minute because I'll be able to show you what he walked away with as a realtor. I talked about this a little bit in another video. If you are a realtor, listen. Okay, listen. And if you're a wholesaler, this is how you can get realtors in on it. So what he did was he had buyers who he was showing houses to over and over and over. So he kind of knew what they were looking for. So when he saw this property, he knew it fit their criteria. So he brought his retail buyers over to see it as a retail purchase. And he told them that the purchase price was like 99,000 or 100,000, something like that. And so when he walked in, he was like, hey, Ashley, I didn't tell you this before, but I told them that this house was going for 99,000. So if you can just kind of, stick with that number for me. I was like, oh, okay. Because when he originally came to me and wanted to JV, he was just like, I want to JV with you on this deal. And I was like, I don't JV. I kind of do my own thing, but thanks. And then he said, well, you get to keep your entire fee. Whatever you're asking for to get out of this deal, you'll keep it. I'll just put my fee on top of it. And I'm just like, dude, there's no room in this. I know I'm a new wholesaler, but I'm not that new. I've done deals before, like there's no more room left in this deal. This is it. And I'm already kind of pushing it. He's like, all right, well, that's fine. That's fine. Just send me over your contract, write it up how you want to write it, just to make sure that you get your fee. It's like, hey, but I think he already knew, like, I have a buyer who's going to buy this, and I already know the price point. He probably had already shared my marketing materials that I had shared with him and other buyers. So anyway, he told me, let them know that it was at 99. So they come, they do the walkthrough, I open up the house for them. 2 of them want to go ahead and make offers. I'm just like, how the heck is he doing this? How is he getting them to pay this amount of money? I didn't realize they were retail buyers at the time. I don't know anything about the realtor side of it. I've never been a realtor or anything like that. So anyway, here are the numbers. I'm just going to use my hand to erase this. So in his contract, I wrote that my fee is going to be $7,000 and that his fee will be anything above or beyond $7,000. I think I wrote like my $7,000 fee. Yes. So in the contract, I literally wrote this. My fee is $7,000 and his fee is, usually says investor A, that's me. Investor B, that's him. he gets anything above or beyond my $7,000. So we sold it for $87,001. All he was going to get was $1. Well, in this case, we ended up selling it for like, let me do the math in my head real quick. I'll just write it down. It was 87. I walked away with 7. Yep. Okay, so I think he did it at $99,000. So we're talking 99,000, right? Minus 87,000. That is, oh, that's wrong. He must have sold it for more than that. I'll just put this for time's sake. Really, that says $12,000. He must have sold it. I can just do the math. He must have sold it for 102. Because I know at the end, it ended up being 15K profit. So because of the contract, I walked away with 7,000. And how much did he walk away with? 15 minus 7 is 8. He walked away with more money than I did on this deal. I did all the work. I did all of the marketing. I did all of the showing. But because he was a realtor with access to retail buyers, he was able to make more money on this deal that I knew I had squeezed every bit of lemon juice out of. There was nothing left in this deal for an investor or a wholesaler. But on a retail side, it was a lot left in this deal, obviously, and he got it. So I JV with the realtor. I wrote up the contract this way, and I would suggest that you always write your contracts that way. I think he spoiled us a lot because now almost all of my JV deals are like this. I don't do percentages. I say, this is what I'm going to walk away with. Whatever fee you want to add on top of that, if you can get it, the contract sold at that price, that's on you. Great luck to you. Best of luck to you. But this is what I'm going to walk away with. And it's because this realtor really, really spoiled us. And that buyer that he had closed in cash. It closed in cash. And like I told you, the next day they had EMD in, and then we closed like maybe 2 or 3 days later. Incredible, right? Now, I do want to talk to you a little bit about how to calculate different ways to calculate your fee. I only have like 2 minutes left, so I'm going to do it quickly. Everyone already knows the calculation that I already gave you, which was ARV times 0.70 minus repairs minus your wholesale fee will be what price you can market it at. Well, one thing that we've been trying is using the repair cost as our cushion. As a wholesaler, you always overestimate the repair cost anyway, because my goal is to keep my buyers nice and safe. Their budget should be nice and cushy based on the numbers that I give them for repairs. So we've started overestimating repairs to the seller, but then giving more accurate repair costs to the buyers. Keep in mind, we're buyers too. So we know how much materials cost. We know how much labor costs. And we know the importance of making sure that we don't get our buyers going over budget based on our repairs. We want them to be able to trust it. So that is what actually inspired us to be very specific on our repair sheet. Very, very specific. And so with that repair sheet, now I know that a real investor, you have leftover materials, you already have processes in place. I know you don't need to pay all of that extra money. But the sellers don't. So I tell the sellers the true bottom line cost. This is really what it costs. We can go to homedepot.com together. We can look up local contractor bids together and just see how much it costs. And that truly is what it costs for a new rehabber. But then when I talk to my buyers, well, I kind of already know what their budget is. I kind of already know what that looks like. And so basically what I'm saying is I leave my wiggle room in the repair costs. So let's say if I have a seller and I know the repairs on the high might be $9,000. And that actually is a true repair cost. If that seller was going to go try to do it themselves, that's how much it would cost that seller. But then to my investor, well, I know my investor will probably only have to pay $4,000 for the repairs because they're seasoned, they already have a team. They're not going to be paying the highest bid for it. And so then that $4,000 in between with the repair cost, negotiating that is another way to collect your wholesale fee. But I will only suggest that to people who know repairs. I mean, you better have it down to a T. I write it down even to the outlets. YouTube's about to cut me off.
Subscribe. Thank you guys. Watch our rest of our videos. Bye.